30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It's not a beautiful Thursday. It's been raining like Noah's Ark is in the neighborhood. But nonetheless, we have a great show for you. Kelly didn't like my bowling shirt, so you know what? He's going to see it today. Hello, Kelly.
Are you serious with that shirt, George? You told me this morning that you were going to wear it at some point, but I never guessed today. That is awful.
Well, get over it.
I mean, good gracious, dude, come up with something. I mean, you don't ever look good on the screen anyway. What you got on with your Knights of the Round Table, but today it's just wow. What do you got under that? An orange shirt? Wow.
No, actually, like a jacket. But anyway, Kelly, I want you to see that it's a unified front. Let's say hello to Billy Derrick. Billy, how are you today?
I'm good, George.
Good.
I'm comfortable in this shirt.
Are you?
Yeah.
Because it's a double XL.
Yeah, that's
all that was in the
I'll have
car.
stooped to a level right here that's just wow.
And I want to say hello as well to David.
David, why did you join in?
I was told to. My paycheck was on the line.
Hey. Are we kidding? Y'all won't ever see me in that, fellas, I promise. Mine have already been thrown away.
Kelly described it as puke yesterday.
Hold on a second. So I gave you a shirt and you threw it away?
Oh, I'm sure it's gone. I haven't seen it seen it since I've been to your bowling tournament. So
It's probably like
either that or it's downstairs in the laundry room where I can use it as a rag of some sort.
Oh, that's lovely. You're such a humanitarian. God.
I would tell you something Tom Moore used to tell me, but I'm not going to say it on air.
You can't do that because we want you back, next Monday.
Yeah.
By the way, no show tomorrow because of Good Friday. Want to make sure everybody knows that. So Kelly and the whole gang will return next Monday. By then, we think we'll have a Masters champion, although there's no guarantee with the crazy weather. Let's get our first Masters scoreboard update, complete with, get this, Kelly, music.
Oh, nice. A little Jim Nance voice with it.
We spare no expense on
Billy,
this
can
show.
you do a little Jim Nance voiceover with it?
Hello, friends. That's the best. George probably has a better one.
Hello, friends.
Well, Jim Nance is still doing the Masters. He's not doing basketball anymore, but he's still at the Masters. Victor Hovland is rolling right now. He's -7 atop the leaderboard. And then you got John Rahm at -6, Adam Scott -5, Shane Lowry, Xander Schauffele, Cameron Young, Brooks Koepka, and Sam Burns all -4 right now.
Hold on a second. Kelly, isn't Koepka, is he one of the defectors?
He's a live guy. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So at the dinner, he stayed quiet as well.
Well, he wasn't at the dinner because he's never won a green jacket.
Never won? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he had.
No, he's won 2 PGAs and 2 U.S. Opens, I think.
He can get the snot out of it. I know that.
He can that.
Tiger's +1, so he's still fighting. He's trying to pass that cut. There's a lot of money on him not making the cut right now, so he's trying to beat that. And then the Vandy kid, Gordon Sargent, is +2 right now, so he's struggling a little bit. He had a nice first hole. I think he birdied the first hole, but he's struggling as well. So there's your Masters leaderboard update.
Kelly is a very good golfer. I've played with him once, never been invited back.
Probably not going to either.
No, probably not.
Did you guys play at Stones River?
We did, didn't
where
we?
George wants to. We play. I forget where we played at that one time. Was it the Governor's Club?
Oh, good Lord, no.
Oh, wow.
The Governor's Club.
I think it
would not
was.
have me.
I think it was.
Really?
I actually think it was. Yeah.
I was allowed at the Governor's Club?
Well, I mean, if you pay, they'll allow you. So
Yeah. So, okay, have you ever played at Augusta?
I have not. I've always wanted to. I've got a guy that I played with that's a member there.
Mm-hmm.
We all know who that is, but
Yes.
I'm not. I'm not going to ask that. I don't know. I've heard that they only let 4 foursomes out a day, which I don't know if that's true. But you got Michael Jordan, and you got people flying all over the country to join that place to come and play a round of golf. They say it's pretty exceptional, and I would love to be able to go one time.
Hootie Snooty.
Yeah, well, I'm not Hootie Snooty. I'm
But
from
they
Fayette.
are.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
don't
but
kid yourself.
hey, but when I go down there, I'm country as cornbread. I'm from Fayetteville.
Really?
Lincoln
Yeah,
County.
So, okay, you
Right.
checked in with Watson a few minutes ago because he has played there.
Yeah, checked in with Watson. He said he played from the member tees probably somewhere around 80. He shot 80 on average, 78 to 83. That's pretty good.
I would shoot probably 130.
Oh, no doubt.
140.
Kelly, would you break 100?
I would break 100.
You're certain about that?
Yeah,
Okay.
I would break 100. I think I'd break 90.
Wow.
Really?
I do. Yeah.
Wow. I don't believe that for a minute.
Oh, okay. Well, you see, it's amazing though to watch some of those shots those guys hit. They hit good shots,
Yes.
and then it rolls. 40 yards.
They don't get rewarded.
No, they do not.
This is not like playing McCabe.
No, it is not.
Well, and every hole is so narrow too.
Oh, we don't need narrow. We need big, wide. Come on in.
We don't need any backyards.
Come on in. You
houses.
suck, but we're going to let you in. What other stories might we have today?
The Preds.
Yes.
They bring the Carolina Hurricanes to Bridgestone tonight, 7 o'clock puck drop. It's the second meeting this season. The Preds won in Carolina back in January. The Canes are in a pretty good spot for that 2 seed in the Eastern Conference right now, but New Jersey is only 3 points behind, so the Canes have something to play for. But, George, Winnipeg can max out at 97 points, Calgary can max out at 95, and Nashville can max out at 96. So if the Preds beat either of those teams head-to-head, they'll have control of that race.
Let me put it the way it is. Tell it like it is. This is, at the moment, the most important game they've played all year. Because if they were to win tonight and get within 1 point of both Winnipeg and Calgary, as Crispy used to say it, anything's possible at that point. Now, their schedule is really rough. These last 5, there are no cupcakes. But, Kelly, I don't know. There's something about this young group that tells me that this is going to be wild tonight.
Well, it's starting to get me interested in a little bit with all the injuries that they've had, and then these young guys are coming in and they're competing. They're not giving up, and that's what fans love to see. They just want to see a team that competes. You might not win a lot of games, but if you're competing, fans love you. And you got to explain this point system to me, George. How does the point system work? Do you get how many for wins? What is this?
Here's what you get. You get 2 if you win in regulation.
Okay.
Predators win tonight, they get 2. Carolina gets zilch. If it goes to overtime, both teams get a point, and then the team that wins, whether it's an overtime or the shootout, gets the second point.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay?
Gotcha.
And what else is there? If you lose, 0.0.
0.0. So it's all about the point system.
Very close to my grade point average my first semester at Vandy.
I don't know about that, George. You looked at me like you'd be a little nerd.
We were on a 3-point system, Kelly. And my first semester was 0.8.
Well,
my mother
I'm sure she was upset. That's probably because you didn't go to class. I mean, you have to go to class.
But ESPN had just come into existence.
Yeah.
If it had been full blown, I'd have never gotten out of school.
I'm sure as the years went on and your grade point average started going upward,
yes.
I'm sure you had a little group around you that would always try to cheat off you because you're nerdish a little bit, right?
I can honestly say that I don't think anybody ever thought about cheating off of me.
Yeah, but you graduated from Vanderbilt, George. Come
I
on.
did.
That's got to give you a little bit of something.
Barely got in, barely got out. And if they knew then what they know now, what else you got there, Billy?
Speaking of Vandy, they've got a game at Missouri tonight, game 1 of that series. And because of the Easter weekend, most baseball series around the country get underway tonight.
Yeah.
Vandy's won 12 straight. They're going for their 4th straight sweep in the SEC. Meanwhile, Tennessee, they're hosting Florida, number 3 Florida.
Big series.
But I was talking to David earlier. He said it might get rained out in Knoxville with all the rain out in East Tennessee, especially in the state of Tennessee. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, he didn't exactly have to be Nancy Van Camp to figure that out. I mean, if you look around,
George, I'm trying to give David some credit here.
Yeah, okay. Let's find out, David. How did you come to that conclusion?
I looked outside and said that weather's going east.
What'd you say, Andy Van Slyke?
Nancy Van Camp.
Oh,
she used to be on Channel 4.
Don't remember her.
Well, you didn't remember Fuzzy Zeller either.
No, Fuzzy Zoller. That's going down in the instant history books.
Speaking of SEC, LSU and South Carolina.
Did you rehearse those masters' names ahead of time?
I had to practice them.
Did you?
I wasn't having it today.
Because the guy on the right would rip the snot out of you.
Better be on your toes. You got to know that, Billy. You got to be on your toes, dude.
Oh, that's what I've learned. I'm on my toes for sure.
Josh Dobbs.
Not Jason. And Kelly texted me. He said he coached a guy named Jason.
I did. Yeah, I got his number in my phone. But there's no excuses. My fault.
No excuse. I like it. Own up. All right, other baseball news. Shohei Ohtani last night pitched well. The Angels beat the Mariners 4-3. But more importantly, he became the first player in MLB history to have a pitch clock violation as both a pitcher and a hitter. So there's nothing this guy can't do. That's not a good thing, though.
Let me tell you,
he's already making history there.
You think he gives a damn? He's going to have about 400 million reasons at the end of the year when he tells the Angels to kiss off. He's leaving.
You ever seen a player like him?
I was going to ask our baseball guy. I've never like that. I've seen baseball from the rafters these last 15 years. So I don't keep up with it like y'all. I'm starting to, obviously, but like, what kind of talent is this guy? I'm going to ask him too. Like, what kind of he's a pitcher. I mean, he hits behind Mike Trout, and then he plays the field. So he's an everyday guy.
You know, when Trout got hurt, there are a lot of people that say, okay, it's Ohtani as the best player in the game, and then Trout number 2. But what you learn from that is if you don't have pitching, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's all about pitching, and the Angels don't have any except him. Is that our update?
That's not our update yet. We've got football.
David about to come with a weather forecast?
Yeah, he's about to come with something.
Yeah, more rain.
Cam Newton has dropped a list of 12 quarterbacks that he'd be willing and eager to back up this season.
Was Kelly one of them?
Kelly Holcomb was not one of them. I'm sure he'd love to back up Kelly.
My name is not even mentioned in those hallways anymore, Hoss.
Who are the 12 apostles?
Josh Allen, Justin Fields, Sam Howell, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, who knows where he's going to be, Anthony Richardson, a rookie quarterback who's not in the league yet.
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers, who knows where he'll be.
He's in a cave.
C.J. Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa, Deshaun Watson, Malik Willis, and Bryce Young.
Malik Willis.
How about that?
Where did that come from?
I don't know. David said he
So all those young guys participated in his QB camp. So just the relationship
so if you pay the fee, you can be one of the 12.
Exactly.
What a racket. I'm thinking about starting one of those broadcast camps. Kiddos, for the right amount of money, you can replace Kelly.
That's fine. I'm not going to your broadcast camp either.
No, but we're going to give out these shirts. Everybody gets one.
That's great. All three of you guys. I'm going to have to go put on sunglasses. That's hurting my eyes.
Oh,
it's ridiculous.
Last piece, an interesting one. Tyreek Hill has come out and said he's retiring from the NFL at age 31. After the 2025 season, he said, I'm going to finish out this contract with the Dolphins, and then I'm going to call it quits. I want to get into the business side of things. I want to do so many things in my life. So at age 31, he's done.
Yeah, but it's also, I would guess, sort of I'd like to have my health. I'd like to be able to walk when I'm age 50. Kelly, how many of these guys, what's the percentage who have unbelievable injury stuff when it's over?
Well, I don't know if there's any statistics on it. You talk to some of your friends. There's a lot of guys. I had a doctor up here in Murfreesboro that had seen a couple of guys. And he said they're just really messed up. I've had some issues. There was a lot of things that I did to stay on the field. When I actually played, there was a lot of things that I did that I wish I could go back now and do over. I probably wouldn't do it, but I don't know if I would have played because I wanted to get back on the field. So, if you don't take care of yourself, you don't eat right, you don't exercise, which a lot of those guys don't do. I've seen now some guys do. Some guys take it serious, because you have life after football. But some guys, I've seen pictures of them, and it looks like they just sit in front of a TV, watch TV all day, and eat potato chips and eat desserts all day because they're just huge. So if you don't take care of yourself, things are going to happen. And we put so much strain on our bodies physically, not only but high school, you go on to college, same thing in the pros. You try to take care of yourselves. And, nowadays guys understand just how important it is to take care of your body. I mean, you could take Tom Brady, for example. The guy had where he had no light in his room, where he slept so many hours a day. He drank so much water. I think somebody told me he drank, I don't know if this is possible, but drank 200 gallons of water a day, which I don't know if that's possible. That's a lot. I don't know. I might have to call BS on that, but I did hear that one day. But he had a lot of things in his house that would help him. And when I was in Cleveland, I mean, they used to bring in rehab people all the time. They used to bring in chiropractors, massage therapists all the time. It was unbelievable, and it was free to us. You give those guys a tip, but that just shows you what big of an asset your body is for you. And if you keep it going, it will go. But some guys just after they finish playing, they just say, "Hey, I'm eating. I'm doing what I want to because I've been on such a strict regimen my whole life. I'm just doing it," and they get themselves in problems.
Okay, let me tell people what we've got going on. Mark Griffin's going to join us by phone. He's on his way back, I think, from Chicago. And we got some things to talk with him about. The college basketball season is over, but there's still a lot going on. Wanted to get Mark on one last time. And then Kelly alluded to it, the guy who knows maybe more baseball than anybody, former Dodger general manager Danny Evans, will join us at 3:00 right off the bat. We'll get him to talk about this pitch clock, which appears to be working beyond Major League Baseball's wildest dreams. However, first, the NBA playoffs start next Tuesday with those play-in games. Will you be betting the NBA? You should be. Today at Action 24/7, use my promo code, George. That's right, I got my own promo code. Get a 300% deposit match up to $20 on your first account. Action 24/7 is Tennessee's only locally owned and operated sports book, and there's a reason I say that. These are Tennesseans. They want business from this state, and so they're going to treat you right. If you've got a question or a dispute, you know what? They're going to get back to you. That's what being good neighbors are all about right here in Tennessee. So download the app or visit action247.com to start all that playoff winning. And remember, please bet responsibly.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. I know it's getting colder. You're not thinking about golf. However, if you're planning an event for next year, let me suggest golf through Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. It's perfect for hosting a corporate or a charitable outing. They've got everything in place to make your event a rousing success. To get more info, call 615-847-5074 or go online to riversidegolflinks.com.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
We're back, and we're about to be joined by former University of Tennessee star Mark Griffin, who has done a brilliant job on this show all year long, and we thank him. This will, I guess, officially be his final visit of the basketball season, but from time to time, we'll get him on. He is on by phone today. Mark, where are you?
Hey, George, guys. I am south of Louisville, heading to Nashville from Chicago.
Run into any rain?
Yes. It's raining right now.
Oh, I believe it. I believe it. Man, this has been some system that's come through really from Detroit on down to Louisiana. What a line. Anyway, enough of that.
I saw some tornado damage, George, actually, in Indiana. It's amazing the destruction along the highway as well. So it's just crazy weather here lately.
Mark, I want to get to this is going to sound pretty negative, and it's going to sound as though it is aimed at Jerry Stackhouse. It's not totally, it is some. Here's what I want to know. When you see a school that has 5 or 6 players in basketball put their name in the transfer portal, what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
The first thing, George, is internal strife. And what I mean by that is if your guys are pretty much happy, and not that they're like dancing in the streets happy, but if they feel that they've, first of all, accomplished some team goals, which Vanderbilt did, individual goals, then it just makes you scratch your head to go, why are so many guys in the transfer portal? I mean, I look at the news every day to see what's going on with the news and the weather, especially. Now I'm checking the transfer portal to see if Vanderbilt has another player in the portal, George. It's unbelievable.
So let me toss this out here, because there was a time in my college life where I considered moving on somewhere else, got talked out of it. I'm glad I did get talked out of it. It worked out fine for me. But I would suspect that every kid 18 to 22 years old at some point in their college life says the grass might be greener elsewhere. Now, for you, it would be athletically. For me, it would have been some level of academics, although I wasn't very good at academics. But how much of this is that, okay, initially a group says, I'm leaving. And then somebody else who says, I'm not leaving, suddenly then says, wait a minute, if they're all getting out of here, so am I.
I think it has a lot to do with it. I mean, I feel bad for Manjon and Lawrence, and we don't even know if Lawrence is going to come back by testing the NBA waters, but, you've got two excellent players, and they're looking around going, who's going to be my teammate next year? And that's disturbing. So I'm just wondering who all's in those guys' ears, because do you want to stay when you've built something so, really incredible at the last part of the season, and then not having a clue of what's going to happen next season? And this is what you build for. You want progression, not only with the program, but with individuals in a team aspect. And when you're having a brand new roster, I just think it disturbs the apple cart, and it's unsettling. Now, it may be downplayed from the coaching staff that, they're upgrading their lineup. You're probably going to hear that, a better fit. But, George, I just don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Look, when you saw the guys that were on the court, especially the last half of the season, playing better basketball than most anyone in the country, or especially in the SEC, and then fast forward a month, and you've got upperclassmen leaving, especially. And then what I wonder is, do these guys are they close to a decree? Why would you forfeit a Vanderbilt diploma to go play somewhere else for another year? Get your diploma and then maybe go, but don't forfeit your Vanderbilt diploma. That's just crazy to me, George.
Mark, first of all, how much of this around the country, when you see this stuff, is it where coaching staffs call a player in and say, listen, don't let the door hit you in the butt. We don't want you anymore?
George, it's a great question. And I would say probably 35 to 50%. And the reason I say, less than 50%, but it's definitely more than 25. Because I've heard it from coaching staffs that behind the doors, not a good fit. Maybe the development wasn't there. Could have been attitude. And coaches will use as motivation to, for these kids to say, do you really belong in this program, in this so-called culture? And at the same time, you've got the hanger-ons around the student athletes are saying, hey, man, you need to go to this school. And this coach has contacted me through a third party. So just know these kids are getting contacted before the portal opens. I mean, there's ways, there's third parties, meaning, one of coach's buddies from undergrad or someone they coached with who knows someone from travel ball or high school coaching contacts. I mean, you use any contact you can, George, to get a hold of a kid and promise them that the greener pastures, which a lot of times aren't there. Now, what is neat, what I really like about the portal, for some of these student athletes, it does give them a second chance, because not everything goes the way they want. Maybe there is a coaching change. Some coaches will promise you certain things, and then when you get to the program, they're nothing like their behavior during the recruiting period. And that's a lot of coaches, for that matter, George. So you're like, oh, you're a father figure, and now you're this, or you're a disciplinarian, and now you don't even care when I come home, the night before a ball game. And kids need discipline. And there's a lot of talk going around to lure this talent. You've got NIL money that is going to show up at certain programs. So there's a lot drawing these kids, and you're dealing with, 18 to 22-year-old kids, and they've got people that are helping them. Some of them are influenced by the wrong people. I just wish it was harder, George, for people to leave, especially the two-time transfers. They say that there's going to be a waiver, but how difficult is that going to be? Make a mistake, fine, I understand. Go to another program. Make a mistake twice, I think you need to tough it out.
Oh, I'm totally with you. But, Mark, let me ask this question. The old school part of me doesn't like this whole transfer portal thing. But if the coaches have the ability to call the kid in at the end of the year and say, listen, we would like for you to get lost. Don't let the door hit you in the butt. then in fairness, how can I really argue against the transfer portal?
Well, you really can't, and that's what's interesting behind closed doors, because you're not really going to know unless you know that student athlete's particular situation, which coaches, administration teach these kids to say as little as possible to the media of what's really going on. And let's face it, if you're a bad apple at a program, you don't want that to get out publicly, that you're having issues with your coach. You're not one to do the extra work. And a lot of these guys that are being asked to leave that I know of is because of not really putting in the work during their free time, doing the minimum of what's available, regardless of their athletic ability. I know guys that have been shown the door, George, that were starters. So it's not just the guys that were taken up to end the bench, but it's just, coaches are looking for a good fit and looking for that chemistry to play together, not just that 4- and 5-star player, but who's going to fit in with the entire team. And it's a tough task for the coaching staff, but right now it's the wild, wild west.
Mark, this started out as a Vandy discussion, but I want to take it all over the country because I don't really know all the answers here. If the coach calls the kid in and says, listen, don't let the door hit you in the butt. We want you out. Does the kid legally have the right to say, screw you, I signed up for this, you're not taking my scholarship, so while you think you're going to make my life miserable, I'm going to make yours just as miserable, and I'm sticking it out?
That could be occurring as well in certain schools, George, and we'll just never know about it. Now, as you know, it's pretty much a 1-year renewable as far as scholarships. So could they pull a scholarship? No doubt. Does it get out publicly that, Johnny X was not, welcome back to University of X this next season? How that comes out in public, is to be determined. I don't hear situations where scholarships are pulled publicly, but once again, behind closed doors, I think there's a lot of negotiating going, saying, hey, we're not bringing you back, but what we will do, we'll help you find another program. And as you know, these coaches are very connected. Either they coached, early in their career with them, or they've had a bond on the recruiting trail. So they're always even trying to help their fellow coaches. Let's say it's a Power 5 program. Well, they may have, coaching contacts that are mid-major. They're like, hey, we've got Johnny X here that's just not working out, but I think he could flourish in your program if you could work on these 3 things. And, mid-major coach is like, I'll be glad to take him.
Okay, let me try this and get you to help me here. So the season in basketball, which, by the way, starts about 3 weeks too early, this year was like November the 6th. Okay,
crazy.
By the middle of December, you can kind of figure out, okay, so-and-so's making a breakthrough and maybe is playing at a level lower than he could be. He has the ability to be here, but he's playing at a level, of competition here. How early is that kid hearing from third-party friends of a school?
I'd say the beginning of the year, January, February at least, because they've got a good idea going into conference play where they stay in. Now, mind you, a lot of coaches will play players based on consistent practice, but I've known guys that were in the doghouse where it's like you're not getting out of that doghouse no matter how well you play. And coaches just use that as a motivator to tell the guys that are getting beat that, look, you've got this player beating the crap out of you, and he's not even going to see the floor, so you better get with it. I mean, a lot of this goes on the basketball court, George, as far as just different tactics to inspire these kids to play at a level that they're not used to. And using, I will use the term, using some of these borderline kids that may have their ears, tuned in to other programs. They're definitely using them as examples to motivate other players.
So what we've got here are a lot of little mind games going on. Kelly, I know you're listening to all of this, and you're going to talk to Mark after the break. Does some of this same stuff go on in football?
It does. It does. I mean, where, a coach, say a Nick Saban is recruiting 2 kids from a high school, and one kid comes to him and the other kid goes to the other school. Well, you can use that kid that's going to your school, maybe saying, Nick comes, hey, how's your buddy at so-and-so doing? Is he happy? It's gotten to that point right now. And I think another thing is you have to recruit your own kids. You're not only recruiting the high school kids now or JUCO kids, but you have to keep all your kids happy in your program, because if you don't, they're going somewhere else. I'm just not, I don't know. I mean, I understand that kids get in bad situations sometimes. They want to transfer. I understand that. I totally understand that. But what you're talking about with Jerry Stackhouse and Vanderbilt, that's kind of that's where this thing is going haywire. And they've got to figure out some kind of rules and regulations with this stuff, because like y'all are talking about, they got a couple of guys that stay. Well, who's going to be my teammates next year? All of them have left.
Well, in fairness, there are a bunch of schools in this same deal. South Carolina had 5 the last time we looked. I mean, this is not just a Vandy club. This is all over the country.
Florida had 5.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I'm coaching high school football, and we're trying to keep, I did it for 9 years, and we're trying to keep guys for us. And I'm just, I grew up in a different time. I played under a different college coach. I don't know how you do it as a college coach, as a high school coach now. Pros are a little different, but you still got to keep those guys happy too. They're getting paid more than you are, but it's just, I don't know. It's an appeasement deal that that's why I had to back away for a little while.
We're going to go to the break on that. Kelly will talk to Mark Griffin in about 3 minutes. Stick around. From the beautiful Fordyce Center in Bellevue, this is the George Plaster Show.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
Back we are. We're talking some college basketball, most of it off the floor thus far, with former University of Tennessee star Mark Griffin, who joins us by phone. Kelly, what do you got for him?
Well, George, you took a lot of my questions, man, but you really hammered him on that stuff, which is good stuff. Mark, how you doing?
Hey, Kelly, good to hear you.
Hey, are those windmills still working in between Indianapolis and Chicago? I got so sick of seeing them things sometimes.
I know, it's funny. I drove by them and I was even, there's so many of them. I'm trying to look and see how many don't work. And there were just a few, but man, there's so many that do. It's just weird driving in that area. It's a weird feeling, when you're not used to that.
It truly is, man. It's a weird feeling. The first time me and my wife and my kids went up through there and we saw all those windmills, of course, they love that stuff, but I'm like, that's wild. I mean, it looks like another country.
Yeah, it does. That's right, like in Scandinavia. Well,
yeah, so let me ask you a couple of questions, man. UT, I enjoy watching Rick Barnes. I really do. I think he does a really good job. I think he's in it for the right reasons. Obviously done it for a long time. I know that they had the Ziegler kid hurt this year, but, do you think he can get him over that hump with getting past the Sweet 16 down to maybe a Final Four at some point?
Well, it's obviously a yearly goal for the program that hasn't been reached, and great expectations this season. I think when people really look back at this season, Kelly, and say, are they happy beating a Duke to make it to the Sweet 16? I think you'll have a good percentage of Tennessee fans to say this is who they were. Yeah. And this was as good as they could be based on the situation without playing victim mode with injuries, because as you know, Kelly, and competing throughout your career, it's expected to have injuries. That's why you have in basketball either 14 or 15 scholarship players, or they would have 8, because you have to have depth. And it was just bad timing for Tennessee. It's going to be interesting if Barnes really looks inside the program and himself at recruiting, just to make sure he keeps up with the changing times now too, because if you don't evolve, you die. And what I am hoping, and a lot of Tennessee fans that I hear from, and you guys, is, and you saw this in the NCAA tournament, is you've got to have a guy that can go get you a bucket and a guard. It's funny how we've really turned away from the big man, and not to discount the big man like they were utilized in the past. I think that they have their role, but it looks like now this is a game of guards, and especially in the NCAA tournament, they've got the ball in their hands. They're the ones going to have the ball the last couple of minutes when it's a close game, and if they're a good free throw shooter, you want the ball in their hands. But is Freddie DeLone is he the next guy for Tennessee that's going to be that bucket getter, or is someone still out there in the transfer portal? But they're going to have to land someone that could get buckets, or I'm afraid they're going to see a repeated theme, because this year Kelly was the best team they had as far as depth that I think Barnes has ever had.
Yeah, if they don't lose Ziegler, you think they go further, obviously?
Well, it's interesting because one can say, does someone take advantage of mismatch based on heights? What do you give up versus what you gain, which is obviously opportunity cost? I mean, he gives so much, but what does he give up? And even though he's a really good defensive player, don't get me wrong, but if you put, let's say, Hawkins on him from UConn, and he's guarding him, and Hawkins is 6'4", you wouldn't tell me that Danny Hurley would take that matchup every day. He definitely would. And I would, and you would too. So Absolutely. You have to look at matchups based on opposition. And I keep looking at this UConn team, and I was fascinated. And none of these guys were shorter. They were all, great athletes and well coached. But it'll be interesting. It'll be good, good conversation during the offseason about Tennessee. But I just really think that he's got, each coach moving forward is really going to be on the lookout for guys that can get bucket when you need it during a crucial time. Vescovy was that guy that could get a bucket for the most part, but he got scouted to where they said, look, if you get face-to-face on him and you don't give him space, he can't get a bucket. But boy, when he slid open and used the screen, which he did so well, he was a bucket, but we need someone that can drive to get a bucket.
Right. Yeah, and he kind of went cold there towards the end of the season too. So, hey, watching the national championship game, I said this in the broadcast Tuesday, I really enjoyed that game because you had two really unselfish teams. And I know through the years you've had complete teams, but man, how complete was UConn? They got guys inside. They got guys that can drive. They got a great shooter. Unbelievably how – and the team, they weren't even ranked to begin the year, and they lost six games in a stretch towards the middle of the year. But just how good were they at the end of the year?
It's really interesting how many of the coaches will pick Danny Hurley's brain or will look at, let's call it the model of success of the type of team he put together. Like you said, this was a selfless team. This was a team that, as you said, great athletes at every position. And even the Newton kid, who I had not even heard of, you had a guy step up in the championship game when other guys weren't knocking down baskets. And the body language was just the aggressor. Nobody's head was down. They weren't yelling at each other. They were encouraging each other. And that started from the top, with Coach Hurley. And it'll just be – I just really find it interesting to see the recruiting now. If some of these coaches, they have to look at this program and go, oh, this is a key that I need to think about. A guard who can get a basket anytime, a big man, a 7-footer that comes off the bench that's a shot blocker like they have with, I think his name's Klingman.
Yeah.
That's now a hot pro prospect, and he hardly even plays.
Yeah.
And the kind of athletes they put together. So it's going to be a fun time for Coach Hurley, and I expect that program to be back regardless of who they lose. I mean, they're definitely a blue blood now and should be included in that committee.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, it's really fun for me in the selfish society that we have nowadays with the transfer portal, the NIL money, and all this stuff, and it's kind of a sense of entitlement. But to see two teams like San Diego State, you would have loved to coach them. They didn't have the horses that UConn had, but when you got horses like that, sometimes it's hard as a coach to get those guys to play unselfish basketball, and it was really cool. So you think those guys going forward have a lot of winning still to do?
No doubt. And San Diego State will be an inspiration for a lot of these teams that aren't ranked, let's say top 15, even top 25, where coaches will come in and say, look at what San Diego State has done. This is our model or our route to get to the championship type game, is to show even clips of what San Diego State has done, as how they've played as a team, and especially tough basketball. Because when I look at a San Diego State, I just think of a team that just plays really hard and not as great athletes overall compared to UConn, but guys that were competitors and knew that they were going to win the game with a tough mental mindset, which is not talked about enough. And you give, San Diego State's head coach a lot of credit for that. So it'll be interesting moving forward, with the recruiting, to see what is taken away from this year's matchup.
Yeah, for me, it was great to see, man. I enjoyed seeing that because you got two really unselfish teams. I got one more question for you, and it's in the SEC. Kentucky. John Calipari. I wouldn't say he's on the hot seat. I don't know anything about that. But, I mean, it seems like, I don't know, the last couple of years, normally they used to be in the thick of things. Now, the last couple of years, I know they went to the NCAA tournament. I know they did this and that. But, I mean, he hadn't been really relevant into, the last couple of years. I mean, where do you see them going?
Well, you bring up a valid point and true, especially for the expectations of a Kentucky program. All things are not equal when you look at the SEC 1 to 14. And I feel the SEC needs Kentucky to be at its apex, because that's where you measure your success. Each team looks at a Kentucky and says, okay, when are they on our schedule? How are they faring so far? And they've been, a lot of ridicule over the last years with lack of success based on the abundant talent that Calipari puts in the NBA. And what I don't understand, if you've got that much talent that's going on in the NBA making millions, then what are you not doing as a coach? I just wonder how people aren't even harder on Coach Calipari when you really look at the talent. And when these guys move on this year, there'll be 2 to 3 to 4 pros, but yet Kentucky doesn't even make it to the Sweet 16. Right. And then with the talent that they have this next year, Kelly's probably the best recruiting class he may have ever had. And people are going to be scratching their head going, okay, if you don't get it done this year, you're probably never going to get it done. And what we mean by that is championship. That's what Kentucky shoots for, and good for them based on tradition. If they don't get to the Final Four this next season, I really feel you're going to hear Calipari's name even more than George and you and I and many other people talk about it. You're going to hear a lot more digging into what he's going to look at for the future. And he's going to have to take a look in the mirror too and just say, is this for him? Because is he really getting the best out of his players while they're with him?
Those are true statements, man. I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Mark, want to thank you so much for the contributions you've made this year. The Fridays have been a lot of fun. Look forward to doing it again in the future. And obviously we'll call you from time to time when a story breaks that we want to get your reaction to. But drive safely. I hope you've gotten to Bowling Green.
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, guys. And good luck to you in your show. Looking forward to hearing you guys.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. After the break, we'll do a couple of things. We'll go stat of the day. Oh, I know. Gosh. Then we'll get a Masters update. And then Danny Evans, who knows as much baseball as any human being on this planet, will join us. From the beautiful Ford Ice Center, stay tuned.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? How?
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
This is my buddy and former Nashville Sounds PA announcer Eric Berner. I always laughed in the old days at Greer Stadium when I would walk in, Eric would immediately play my favorite song, Van Halen's Jump. But then I learned he actually has a real job with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors.
Yeah, George, that's what I do. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. Everybody's situation is different, so I use a customized and individualized, personalized approach to the person I'm working with. Old 401ks, retirement planning, insurance planning, inheritance planning. Those are things that people like to get some more information about.
One of the things I find is people don't even know where to start, and that's where you come in.
Yeah, so I can usually help people with an initial phone call or meeting that is a no charge and no obligation.
And I'll bet you have a phone number and a website.
I do, George. They can call me at 615-235-1058 or rockcastlewealth.com or Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication, and we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700. Send us a message at celestemiddleton.com or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Welcome to John English Antique Sports and Cards, located at 204 East Depot Street in beautiful downtown Shelbyville, Tennessee. Their phone number is area code 931-492-4304. John, obviously, I've been blown away by what I've seen at your place. I've now been there 3 times. But for the person who's never been, what should they expect?
Well, we have a 3,000 square foot store, George. Half of it is vintage cards in all sports. And then half of the store is, a lot of people call it the museum, where there's a lot of early equipment and just the history of sports in general. Baseball, football, basketball, golf, tennis, and other items.
When somebody comes in there that you know is a big sports fan, what is their normal reaction?
Well, I think that they're pleasantly surprised, and of course, being in Shelbyville, Tennessee, which is a small town that you would never expect a shop like we have to be in. So they're kind of, I don't want to say blown away, but as I said, pleasantly surprised.
Welcome back in. Top of the hour, 3 o'clock here from the beautiful Ford Ice Center in Bellevue. Masters Day. We'll get an update here in just a few moments. But first, stat of the day brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville. Give them a call at 931-492-4304 or go find them out in Shelbyville at 204 East Depot Street. They're open during the week, Tuesday through Friday, and also Saturdays. All right, let's get to stat of the day. It's NFL draft. Since 2005, the Tennessee Titans have made 19 picks in the first round of the NFL draft. Only 6 of those draft picks have ever been selected to an NFL Pro Bowl. Can you name those 6 players?
Okay, Kelly, let's you and I talk these through.
I mean, why do we have to name so many of? Why do we have to name so many of them? 6 players?
Come on, Kelly. I've been catering these towards you. I thought this was a layup
I
for
know,
you.
but this is the Tennessee Titans, man. I don't keep up with Tennessee Titans. I keep up with the teams I played with.
Oh, you don't keep up with the Tennessee Titans.
Nah.
Wow.
All right, George, we got it. Let's go.
Yeah, that'll do numbers.
Okay, Kelly. Pac-Man Jones make the Pro Bowl? I think he did.
Are you sure?
No.
Yeah, I don't remember him making it. What about the guy that they just let go, Taylor Lewan? Did he make it?
I've written down Jeffrey Simmons, Taylor Lewan. Who was the big guy in the middle that left and went to Denver? The defensive line.
Jarrell Casey.
Was Jarrell Casey a first-round pick?
No.
Okay. Let's by way of
Taylor Lewan is in there, by the way.
Would you like to go one by one or just give us the whole list?
Okay, let's
let me hear him, George.
Is Pac-Man on that list?
He is.
Thank you, Kelly.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. Jeffrey Simmons.
He is on there.
Taylor Lewan.
He is on there.
Okay. Kelly, we're cooking with gas.
Need 3 more.
Chris Johnson.
He is on there. Need 2 more.
Chris Johnson. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Pulled that out of
you know what?
Left field.
George, you might be doing this one alone.
I mean, Derrick Henry?
He wasn't a first-round pick.
Oh, he was not. Oh, that's
second.
Oh, that's right.
Well, we've got a pretty good idea. Isaiah Wilson is not on that list. For the sake of time, let's go ahead and give.
Okay, so you were missing 2
from
Vince Young.
Texas.
Vince Young and Michael Griffin.
Kelly, I got to be honest. We should have gotten Vince Young.
Yeah, we should have.
Yeah,
I totally agree with that.
Mr. Adams, who would you like to see drafted?
VY is my guy.
He said that several times. Okay, let's get a Masters scoreboard update day 1 at Augusta National, and then Danny Evans will join us from his palatial mansion.
All right, George, a few notes, important notes. Tiger Woods finishes the first round with a 74 for the 5-time champion, 2 over, so we'll have to figure out if he makes the cut or not. Meanwhile, John Rahm, interesting note here, he ties the lowest round in Masters history with a double bogey. He started today with a double bogey. Awful start, but he finished with a 65. He finished that first hole with a 4-putt double.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's tied for first now. So he has shot up the leaderboard. Victor Hovland is that other guy in first. Cameron Young and Sam Burns are tied for second at -5. Shane Lowry, Xander Schauffele, Adam Scott, Brooks Koepka, Joaquin Niemann, and Sam Bennett, the amateur, are all tied at -4. So that's where the leaderboard is at. Spieth is -3, and Justin Thomas is -2. So it looks like those 2 will make the cut. Phil Mickelson also -2. So a lot of Americans up there in the leaderboard.
Okay. Now let's get to something that is really fun for me, and that's bringing Danny Evans back to our microphone. Some of you will know him as a former Dodger general manager. Before that, a longtime assistant general manager with the White Sox. I always use the claim that he knows as much baseball as any human being on the planet. But I'll also tell you this, and Danny, feel free to kick in some money. Danny,
I thought you already got it, George.
Yeah, Danny has
Sounds
been
like
running for the last couple of years the Field of Dreams out in Iowa. They've hosted a couple of major league games with incredible success. So let's start there. Give me the latest on what's going on in Iowa.
Well, first of all, it's great to be back with you guys. I hope everybody's doing well. Hello to the listeners.
Hey, hold on a second. We got to do some intros here. Watson has taken about 3 months off. Has nothing to do with you. It may have something to do with me. But Kelly Holcomb, who I don't think knows anything about baseball, that's him on the right, played a 14-year career in the National Football League. So, Danny, this is going to be real interesting when we get him talking baseball.
That's all right. Who said I know that much? So I am sporting a logo today. It's the free It's For Me wear. So I'm wearing some of my Dyersville baseballism stuff. But, George, thanks for the intro. I'll tell you what, hot off the press, within the last hour, we are building a permanent ballpark at the venue. We have a vision for just an exceptional ballpark. And it'll be a permanent stadium where we could host future big league games, future events, a really versatile venue. We just got word about 45 minutes ago that we had received an Enhance Iowa grant in the amount of $12 million, which caps off our fundraising from a local, state, and city fundraising standpoint. We have $32.5 million now to build what we think is going to be an incredible ballpark. And that literally happened within the hour. So there were some high fives going on within a design meeting. So it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be very Iowa-centric. And we expect the facility to be ready in the spring of 25.
Kelly, feel free at some point to get in on this because you and I talked about it earlier today. I'll ask another one on this. Danny, comparing being a major league general manager and the satisfactions of certain things that go right, where is the whole Field of Dreams for you in baseball satisfaction?
Wow, George, you and I have known each other a long time. You know, I used to be measured just like you, Kelly, the W or the L.
Yeah.
And the hyphen really was a teeter-totter throughout my career. I mean, I had over 8,000 games as a GM or an assistant GM. George, I don't have wins and losses anymore. They're all good days. Some are just gooder than others. And, you know, like a couple days ago, there was a couple in their 80s celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary. And, you know, I got to hang out, watch them play catch. And every day something happens here in Iowa that makes me smile and makes me realize what I'm doing is a lot of fun. I do miss the competition, but I think after 42 years, I probably got enough. A friend of mine calls it pushing back from the competition table. But now, candidly, I'm loving spending a lot of time in Iowa. I love this community. They have been so good to me and my girlfriend, and it's been a glorious situation. And everything we're doing at the field, myself and Frank Thomas are just trying to grow baseball and softball and make the Field of Dreams, you know, an even more enhanced, wonderful venue to go to.
Kelly, if you got anything on the Field of Dreams, fire away.
Yeah, it's Frank, because I was talking to George about this. Obviously, growing up, playing baseball, loving baseball, Field of Dreams comes out with Kevin Costner, James Earl Jones. You got Ray Liotta in the movie. Is Frank the one that owns that? Because I always thought probably Kevin Costner was, you know, part owner. So is Frank the one that owns it?
You know, Kelly, it's a great question. Frank and a few partners are the majority owners and operators of the Field of Dreams movie site. We're actually called Go the Distance LLC. There's 38 shareholders. It's just a great group, all different backgrounds. Wade Boggs is in there. We have some really fun people involved, but Frank and I are running it on a daily basis. I'm the chief operating officer. Frank is the chief executive officer, and the two of us are just carrying out our vision with the field and candidly having a lot of fun doing it.
Now is it in did you say Dyersville?
Yep, it's in Dyersville, Iowa, town of 4,400. It's on the eastern part of Iowa, about 30 miles west of Dubuque. And this little town acts big, thinks big, and does big things. Been a little bit of a transition. City boy, as George knows, for city boy here for my entire adult life, traveling all across the world. And now I've got 3 traffic lights, but I actually love it. It's a really fun place, and they have a real keen ability to get things done here. And this entire state has rallied behind Frank and I and have really supported everything we've done. We've had about 10 votes now for various projects, and they've all been unanimous. So it's been really, I remember George calling you before we announced everything. And, there had been some vision here that never got to the finish line. We've already broken ground on a 300-acre enhancement to the property, and we'll be full throttle next Memorial Day, a year from now. So it's really exciting where we're headed. I wish I could sleep a little more, but my buddy Tommy Lasorda used to always say, sleep is the enemy. And I keep listening to that, but I don't know if he was completely right on that one.
No, I don't think he was right on that one.
Tell me this. When is the next time you all will host a major league game? Because those have been ridiculous successes.
Yeah, George, the big league game 2 years ago is the most watched baseball game in the last 17 years. And the one we had last summer between 2 really poor ball clubs was the 3rd highest baseball game in the last 17 years. So, we know we've got a really great thing, and we've got a great partner in Major League Baseball, and Frank and my entire adult lives have been spent in Major League Baseball. So we're trying to put together, and we're going to develop and complete a project that will give them an elite venue that they could play a game as early as 2025. Our stadium won't be ready for another 18 to 20 months. So as a result, we'd love to have another Major League Baseball game or 2 or 3 here at the site, but it really is a direct result of our stadium being completed. And like today, we spent 6.5 hours with our design team honing in on the final stages of the ballpark with an anticipated groundbreaking of this summer.
Wow.
That's
so
awesome.
So Danny, I want to turn this. Obviously, you and I have a love of baseball that Kelly probably does not. Now, in fairness, Kelly's had the right to say over the last few years, why would I spend 3.5 hours when there's not enough movement? And you and I have known this problem was out there for the casual fan or the person that's looking for an excuse not to even be a fan. And all of a sudden, we've got this pitch clock that the minor leagues have used, and the major leagues suddenly a week in are figuring out as a rousing success. Now, I want to do something, Danny.
Yeah.
David Wilson from our staff is part of the group that operates the pitch clock on the minor league level. So I want the two of you all to talk a little bit through what all has been going on. Are we now at a point where there's no doubt this is a rousing success?
George, I'm going to go back 10, 12 years. They first enacted this in the minor leagues. In fact, every big league player who's played in the minor leagues, and that's every single guy, have played with these rules in place. And throughout the last decade or so, especially the last 5 years, you would go to a minor league game and have a much better pace of baseball. I remember I went to a Cedar Rapids game last June, and it was an hour and 57 minutes. I was home before it was dark outside, and Cedar Rapids is an hour away from Dyersville. To me, I think we lost sight a little bit of the fact that we're entertainment, and a game that trudges along is not in the best interest of the casual fan. And the casual fan in every sport is more than the majority of the fan base. You have very few hardcore people who watch every single game that a team plays. I can tell you from my standpoint, I think it's exceptional. I love it. I love the pace of the game. I heard a lot of people saying early on, oh, it's going to detract from the game. Not whatsoever. It actually enhances the viewing capabilities. And the only people that are complaining about it are the vendors, because it's a quicker paced game. And you know what? As a result, people are just going to have to get used of the way the game's played. But I've talked to some big league managers. There's no problems in strategy. The players use spring training to get the hang of it. Ohtani was a victim the other day, but Ohtani didn't play with a pitch clock in the WBC. So he's just getting used to it, and he got penalized on both sides, pitcher and a hitter. But George, I think this is one of the best things we've done as a game in the last couple decades. And I think what it's doing is it's showing the sports fan that baseball's listening. And I think there's an entirely new generation of baseball fans that will gravitate more to the game because of the speed of the event. And I think it's great for the sport in general.
David, tell Danny what you all do on the minor league level, because you actually work some of this.
Yeah, so the minor league pitch clock is actually a little bit different than the MLB side. On the minor league side, it is 14 seconds with no runners on base. It'll be 19 seconds for when runners are on base. So it's just a little bit of difference. I know Major League is 15 with nobody on and 20, so 1 second difference. But minor league has really been the testing ground of all of this. So those young players that are coming up this year who are making their Major League debuts have been in place with the system, and they are used to it, and you're not seeing that trouble out of them compared to the veterans. But even Max Scherzer has come out and said that he loves the pitch clock because it brings in an element of strategy and just enhances the pace of play. On Tuesday night, Sandy Alcantara, who won the Cy Young last year, threw a shutout in an hour and 57 minutes.
God, we haven't
that
had
that was ridiculous.
We haven't had a 157 since Nixon was in office.
So the pace of play is great this year, but I love it. It just allows you to watch, and action happens quicker.
Danny, my biggest worry was that the umpires, who can be at times a little set in their ways, were not going to enforce what the rules were or what they've now been established for.
Yeah, George, umpires get a bad rap. Just having been so immersed in the game, I have relationships with so many longtime umpires. They love the game as much as the three of us. Well, sorry, Kelly. At least the two of us do. And I can hear you love the game, Kelly, but we're gonna have to baptize you a little bit. So I think what we've got here is the umpires realize it's great for them. George, on a hot day in August in St. Louis, being on the field for 3 hours and 40 minutes, never really getting a break. Remember, the umpires never shut down. They're kind of the unsung heroes. I mean, that home plate umpire sees 300 pitches, 400 pitches, and he never catches a break. And they're humans too. We're going through a 6-month season that has a 55-day spring training, and we're all beat up at about 2 or 3 different stages through the course of the year. I think what you're going to see is shelf lives improve, and umpires see it as something that's worth enforcing, because what it really does is it enhances their entire experience. And they're fans of the game just like we are. So I think what you're seeing is support from the umpires, support from the players and the clubs. And I think the fans so far, it's been a resounding yes.
Danny, if my Preds win tonight, and believe me when I tell you I will be there, I'm going to be pumped. We're getting close. And I don't know how we're doing it.
Well, I'll tell you what, George, that puck that I love so much, sometime around late November, I stopped pretending that I was a big hockey fan when it came to the Blackhawks, because when your goal is to lose, I don't have 2.5 hours to toss. But George, I'll tell you what, I've been following the NHL, and they're a great story, and I'm kind of rooting for them a little bit, just so my buddy George has a good time, but also I know the enthusiasm the Preds have in that wonderful 615 area code. So,
yes,
it's great for the city.
Okay, Kelly, are you ready to talk baseball?
Well, I want to know this. Let's get back on the pitch thing, because here's the deal.
Okay.
I do. I grew up playing baseball. I wanted to play baseball. Yeah. I grew up going to Sounds games, Nashville Sounds games, but as a casual fan, I think it will speed the game up for me, because that's been my whole thing. It's so slow. And then guys get up there and they mess with their gloves, and the pitcher takes forever. He goes back and he puts the stuff on. It kind of wears me out. So let me ask you this. When does the pitch clock start? When does it actually start?
When he receives the ball again. Really? So it's like, here we go. And the great thing about it is now they have a thing called pitch com, C-O-M. And at the big league level, the pitcher and the catcher can communicate without using signs. So as a result, there's very little way of advancing signs to the hitter. And it just moves the game along quicker. And you'll see some pitchers going like this, or leaning in and speaking, receiving information. Some pitchers are calling pitches from the mound. And I think what David said a moment ago, there's a strategy for pitchers to make hitters uncomfortable. And part of it is what Mark Burley used to do, which is get it and throw it. And that way the hitter feels like he's on the defensive the moment the at-bat begins. A couple big league hitters have told me that the more savvy pitchers, the smarter pitchers, have really put them at a disadvantage, because they're just not mentally ready for the at-bat. So now they're starting to retaliate by getting in the box and let's go.
Yeah.
And I think it's great for the game. And I think, Kelly, the other thing, and you know this as a former athlete, the pace of the game is a weapon at times.
Yep.
And I think for a dominant hitter, a dominant pitcher, somebody who's hot or cold, the pitch clock just moves the game along. There were guys who were afraid to throw the ball. They're absolutely having a rotten game, and they know that the next time they throw a pitch, there's a good chance they're backing up third base or they're looking for another baseball. Now they got to throw the ball. And that fear, that innate fear that some guys have, is now squashed. You got to bring the ball to the plate. And I think that's good for everybody involved. I think what you'll see more than anything, you'll see the defense improve all around at the big league level, just because when you're on your heels for 30 to 50 seconds between pitches, you can't help but drift. I think the instinctive athletic player is going to be rewarded defensively.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's cool. And it certainly helps somebody like me to speed up the game, because I being in football, we're doing something nowadays, guys don't even huddle anymore. So the game, the pace of the game is so much faster. So George, you
Kelly,
got
hold on.
about,
I got to go to a break.
Okay.
Just hold on to wherever you're going and then bring it up to start the next one.
Gotcha.
Okay. As we go to the break, let me talk to you about the fact that the NBA playoffs start next Tuesday. They do. Hard to believe. And today at Action 24/7, you can use the promo code George and get a 300% deposit match up to $20 on your first deposit. Action 24/7 is Tennessee's only locally owned and operated sports book, and I say that for a reason. These are folks who live here. They want your business. If you have questions, they're going to try to answer them. If you have a dispute on a game, they'll get back to you in a hurry. That's one of the big advantages to using Action 24/7. Download the app or visit action247.com to start all that winning, and please bet responsibly.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from, and for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. I know it's getting colder. You're not thinking about golf. However, if you're planning an event for next year, let me suggest golf through Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. It's perfect for hosting a corporate or a charitable outing. They've got everything in place to make your event a rousing success. To get more info, call 615-847-5074 or go online to riversidegolflinks.com.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
This is the first week, Danny, of our moving into a permanent studio at the Ford Ice Center out in Bellevue. The next time you're in town, I'm going to bring you in here. We got a hockey rink right back there, got a hockey rink right over there. And in the weekends when the tournaments are here and it's crazy. It is, first of all, a beautiful facility. You would love this.
Outstanding. That's outstanding. Congratulations to you guys.
George, you need to try to bring him in for your bowling tournament. He does a really good job with his bowling tournament, but Danny, you've got to help me convince him to get a different colored shirt, because that is nasty.
It is nasty, but he doesn't get lost in the dark.
No, he does not. I told him I was going to have to go put on some sunglasses, but he gives everybody one of those shirts. He's mad at me because I have no clue where mine are. I think I threw them away, or they're either downstairs ready to get used on windows.
So he said this yesterday, totally inappropriate. And so I said, screw it. We're all going to wear the shirts today. Billy, show them.
Very nice.
Oh, yeah. You know,
that's
bad on y'all. That's bad on y'all.
They were under threat of a paycheck. I mean, let's be honest. But nonetheless, Kelly, you do have questions, and we're going to grade you on these.
I've got a few. I as being a novice fan, a casual fan over the last couple of years, this Otani guy, what kind of play? I mean, you don't see, like, I know he's an enigma, and I'm sure there's probably more guys that can do that, but I mean, the guy pitches, he plays in the field, and he bats right behind Mike Trout. What kind of player is him? George said he's leaving. next year probably. I don't know, but like, what kind of player is he, and will we see that? I'm sure we'll see it again, but like, I can remember stories of, Greg Maddux and Tom Glavine, all those guys. The pitchers normally pitch a day and then they go play golf the rest of the week. Well, he doesn't get an off day. What kind of athlete is this guy?
Exceptional. He's the best athlete. He's the most tooled up player I've seen in my 40 plus years in the game, Kelly. I first saw him when he was a 19-year-old in Japan. And it's really inaccurate to say I first saw him. I first heard him. I was walking into a facility and I heard what sounded like thunderclaps. And it was him hitting in a facility in Japan. And it was the type of sound that you so seldom hear.
Yeah.
But the extraordinary part about him, Kelly, is he's the fastest guy in the field. He's the hardest thrower. He's got the best splitter. He's the best athlete. He has the most power. And the tool that no one ever really gives him credit for is he's the fastest and best base runner. All of that is combined in an immense, for me, instinctive package with a work ethic that is second to none. He has an extraordinary ability to turn the faucet off between pitching and hitting, which would immobilize, basically prevent most players from being able to accomplish what he's accomplishing. I mean, Kelly, just think about it this way. He goes and he throws a bullpen at 4 p.m. in between starts. He does long toss. He does all his pitchers' work. For 13 guys, 14 guys on a club, that's your daily work, and you get a lot done. He then goes and hits, puts on a display like nobody I have ever seen in the game. And then once a week pitches and hits in the same game, but every single night, he is an incredibly impactful player on the game. For me, guys, I've been obsessed with this guy for, 10 years. And for me, what makes him so great is he consistently does things on a baseball field that you just don't see and have never seen. The Babe Ruth comparison doesn't work for me. Babe Ruth never did what Ohtani does. He's going to do this the rest of his career. He pitches and hits. Ruth didn't do that. This guy is an exceptional performer on both ends of the ball. We're watching, for me, one of the most historic athletes we'll ever see, and we're seeing him in his prime. We're just so lucky as a sport to have him as our marquee. Look at how the World Baseball Classic captivated fans with his ability to excel on the baseball field.
So hands down, the best player in the league.
Oh, not a question, Kelly. And what he brings to his team is so unique. It's like having a great middle linebacker and a great quarterback all in one picture.
Oh, yeah.
And he's durable. He's athletic, but he is such a tremendous compartmentalizer. And I think the game is better as a result. It's joyous to watch him play. I record every single Angel game on my DVR, and I speed through just to see it in a quick inside thing. And George, I hope we're okay time-wise. The guy who's the general manager of the Angels I used to work with the Blue Jays. And we went over and saw Shohei probably play about 8-9 years ago together. And Perry looked over at me, Perry Manassian is his name. And about the second inning, he said, "Wow, Danny, you really got this guy. This is amazing." Well, now he has a guy as his general manager who really understands how great a player he is. I think it's going to be a treat this year. I think they've made some good moves, and I think he and Trout go into the year healthy. We could be watching some fun baseball in Orange County this year.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. I know that it's early in the season. You're the professional. Who's the best team? I just heard those guys. You know, George is an Atlanta Braves guy, and I heard them talking about the Braves. I saw where the Tampa Bay Devil Rays are undefeated at this point. So, who do you think is going to be there at the end?
Well, I think the Braves are going to win the World Series, or at least that would be my pick today. I think there's some elite clubs who have gotten out to good starts. You know, Kelly, the hardest thing about baseball is we play every day. So the mental rut that you get in when you lose compounds itself on a daily basis. You know, football, basketball, hockey, you get to kind of regroup, shuffle, figure it out. You play the next day in baseball. So the Bravos have got out to a great start. I think the Brewers are going to be a good club. Minnesota is out to a really good start. The Guardians are playing super. I like the Rays. I like the Rays a lot. And in that division, a big start is a plus thing. But I think one of the fun stories so far is how good the Texas Rangers have played. A lot of people shot them down in the offseason, but I thought they made some really shrewd moves. I do think, Kelly, that, you know, there's a really funny thing in baseball. It's almost like an unspoken rule where, you know, you don't talk about your start, and you don't jinx your start. You don't talk about a bad start. Well, the great sabermetician Bill James came up with something about 15 years ago, that the first 10 to 20 games of a season really do determine what your season's going to be like. So if you're the Kansas City Royals, if you're the Nationals right now, you're looking at what this might look like in 2023. I mean, the Rockies are an example. But I think what we've got here in the first week is good teams played really well. And most of the teams that we don't think are very good really didn't play very well. And I think part of it is these teams know with the extended wild card, every game is so vital to the postseason that there's a focus that didn't exist years ago in April. And now that, you know, oh, it's early, you don't hear that quite as much as you used to.
Well, I would definitely love, man. Obviously, you know a lot about the game. I would definitely love to come out to Dyersville at some point, man. That'd be a dream come true to come out there and see that, see the Field of Dreams. And when I was a kid dreaming about that, that would be great for me to come. So hopefully one day I'll get out there and check y'all out.
Well, Kelly, I'd love to have you out here. We could play a little catch, hang out. They do have beer in this county, and we could have a lot of fun in this area. It's a really fun place to call work.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate it. Well, George, I'll flip it back to you, man. Appreciate it.
Danny, I got one other thing for you.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball is a game where from time to time, pitchers in particular go haywire.
Yeah.
And there's one right now who was a Vanderbilt commit, but didn't go there. Ian Anderson of the Braves, who came along during COVID and showed everybody a poise and a, you know, beyond his age kind of stuff. And now all of a sudden in the last year, it's completely flipped the other way. I saw he'd had a start in the minors where I don't think he got out of the second inning.
Yeah.
First of all, what do you think is going on there? And secondly, when you would come up on one of those, what would you do?
The game's a grind, George. It's a marathon mentally and physically. And the problem for a lot of players, particularly younger players that aren't really settled in on who they are, when you struggle, the struggles are compounded by the mental side of the game. And I think sometimes guys get suffocated. They just get paralyzed by the mental aspects of the game, which are a huge hurdle for any athlete, even the recreational athlete who has trouble with a 10K or a half or a marathon. I think the challenge in baseball, particularly for a starter, is you got to wait 4 days to get that ball again. And your mind starts playing games with you. And in today's sport, as analytical as we are with all the metrics that are in use, you become predictable at times and can't escape that rut. What I always did with players when they were struggling was try to approach their self-doubt and assure them that we as a team believe in them. And let's get back to what was bringing success. I think, George, one of the best lessons I learned early in my career was make the game as simple as you can when you're struggling. Because, you know, the hitting coaches give you 8 things to work on. The pitching coach many times analyzes your every move, and you get paralysis by analysis. I think what you have to do is dumb the game down a little bit and just say, Ian, listen, you know you can compete at that level. You're healthy. What we need to do is let's simplify the game a little bit. Let's take some of the components out that are challenging you right now. It wouldn't be fair for me to fully critique him because I don't know specifically what's going on, haven't watched every pitch. But one thing he has there is a tremendous group of instructors and coaches. And when you believe in your players like Alex and his entire staff do, guys usually figure it out. It just takes longer sometimes than you and I and Kelly would like. But for every guy, that mental side of the game is such a difficult opponent. Some people embrace it. Some people get suffocated by it.
Danny, it is so good to have you talk baseball with us. I'm thrilled. I had no idea at the news that you were going to share at the beginning. It sounds like you hit a big home run today. Congratulations and continued success up in Iowa.
George, Kelly, thanks a lot. And George, you know I'm rooting for your Bravos. So let's get hot. They haven't even played a home game yet. Let's go.
Let's go. And tonight, root for the team in gold. Gold is a pretty color.
George, I am with Kelly on the shirt, though. I do think there's other options in the color palette.
Gosh, please.
Both of
It
them.
looks like an active construction zone, George.
Both of you can hit the door. Hey, Danny, see you next week.
Love you, George. Nice meeting you, Kelly. Thank you.
Thanks.
Oh, it hurts that he took Kelly's side. God.
It's true. It's absolutely true.
Last thing in the world I wanted to hear.
It's not.
True.
We have a little feedback there?
That was a little too loud. It's
Yeah.
not the logo, though, right, Kelly? I mean, it's just the
I'm
color.
cool. You got to have the logo. The logo's fine. It's just the color of the shirt.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. The Nashville Predators got to decide. I get it. They're an NHL team. I'm not worried about them. I'm talking about George Plaster's bowling night. Do something else.
I have 3 words for you, Kelly, as we go to the break. Deal with it. Plaster Bet of the Day is coming up next.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank and Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank and Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
Welcome back. Final segment on a Thursday, final show of the week. It's time for, not final segment. We got technically 2 more segments. My bad.
It's exciting.
Very exciting. We get 2 more segments here. But first, Plaster's Bet of the Day. And it's brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law, best in the business. They are lawyers you can trust. Give them a call at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, let's check out what happened last night for George. Milwaukee Bucks got it done, Kelly. How about that?
Well, I asked on the show, is Giannis not playing? And then nobody knew. George didn't know. If he would have played, it would have been 150, 152 today. No doubt.
Well, what George said was if this Greek is betting on another Greek, he's playing.
Well,
I thought he was. However, Kelly, I want you to take a good look because that record is a standard of excellence. We are hanging tough.
Yeah, if you want to be mediocre, it is. Yeah. Sure.
Well, what was your record in the NFL?
Let's don't go there.
Okay, so we got Milwaukee last night, and by the way, they clinched home field, if you will, throughout the playoffs. If there is a Game 7, yes, that Milwaukee plays in, they're going to host it. We're getting down to the final week of the NBA season. This may be a mistake, but I'm going tonight with the Sixers. Joel Embiid is a real legitimate MVP candidate. Don't know that he's going to win it, but he's going to be really close. They're better than Miami. Miami's going to play in the play-in game. They may have more to play for, but Philly's the better team. I'm taking Philly at home, whether Kelly likes it or not.
Couldn't care less, to be honest with you. I think that's a pretty good pick, though. Joel Embiid, hey, Doc Rivers said, hey, the MVP race is over after the other night when he scored. How many did he score? 50-something?
52.
52, yeah.
Yeah. He's a stud.
He
I don't
is.
know
He's
that
good.
there's another player like him in the NBA, maybe in history. I mean, with his skill set at how tall is he? 6'11", 7
Yeah,
foot.
put it on the floor.
And I mean, he's crossing guys up. He's step back three. I mean, it's
Gets a lot of points at the foul line.
Good.
That Eastern Conference playoff race is going to be fun to watch with Boston, Philly, and Milwaukee.
Yeah, it's not Milwaukee's just to snap their finger and act like they're it. They're not necessarily. Hey, let me do one thing before we go to this final break. Yesterday, we opened the show, or sometime in the 2:00 hour, with the news that we are creating a summer sports speaker series. By the way, that's not easy to say. Our first one of these is 2 weeks from today. The new Predators general manager, Barry Trotz, will be that person. We're inviting all of you to come as I don't know if the word studio audience is the right thing, but to get to hear what this has all been like, this transition for Barry, how he intends to work as a general manager. We'll have a couple of the segments that are where you all can ask the questions. Bottom line is this: it's a free event. Now, if you want lunch, they can get that done for you, because obviously this is during a time of the day that a lot of you work. They have a great restaurant here, Draft Picks. The restaurant and bar does a terrific job. If you want a seat at the table, so to speak, just RSVP to me at plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. If it's just you by yourself, say it's one. If there are 4 of you that want to come, just let me know and we'll get you a table, and that's how we'll operate.
And keep an eye on our Facebook pages as well. We're going to be creating an event where you can say you're going, you're interested, you're not going, to where we can get an idea of how many people are going. But keep an eye on our Facebook pages as well as Twitter to get more details on this event.
Beautiful. We'll have a final Masters update when we come back.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? Wow.
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
To say we're excited about our new digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue is a huge understatement. Special thanks to Sean Henry, Danny Butler, Joel Butcher, Dan Williams. Man, they have made our life beautiful. One of the things we're going to try to do is take advantage of this beautiful facility. The first thing we're going to do is create a Wilson Bank and Trust Summer Sports Speaker Series. Try saying that 3 times in a hurry. The first of those will be Thursday, April the 20th at 11:30 in the morning. It'll run until about 12:45, and the new Predators general manager, Barry Trotz, will be our guest. Stay tuned for more information and for more announcements. We are thrilled to be at the Fordyce Center, and thanks to all of you for watching our show.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication. And we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700. Send us a message at celestemiddleton.com or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Hello, friends.
He was a good man.
It's such a weird tone to enter the segment with, but I like it, George. How about this for an amateur record? Sam Bennett from Texas A&M. He had a 32. That tied the record for the lowest first 9 from an amateur in Masters history. So he's up there. I mean, he's tied for 5th right now at -4 as an amateur. So that has never happened. So that's one of the big stories. But John Rahm really is the story today. He's now tied for 1st with Hovland after an awful start, a triple bogey, and then he finished with a 65. So he is tied for 1st with Hovland. Koepka is tied for 3rd. Well, he's actually alone in 3rd at -6, and Cameron Young is in 4th at -5. A lot of guys are -4 right now. Lowry, Schauffele, Scott, Bennett, Burns, and Spieth are all 4 under right now.
Or as they say at the British Open, Jordan Spieth.
Now on the tee, Jordan Spieth.
Gong him for that, please. Please gong him.
Yeah, same for you.
We need it. We do need a gong. That's a good idea.
I've been saying that for a year. All of a sudden, Kelly comes. Oh, whatever Kelly wants.
I thought you were talking about breaking news.
Breaking news, gong. We need more.
You never said gong. A gong is a great idea.
Get a damn gong.
Kelly's already 1 week in, and he's already helping the show out.
Yo, there's no question he is. But the question is, does he want to come back for week 2?
That's a big question.
Not with those shirts on. I really don't.
We got to ship one to him. Maybe he will.
Yeah, ship another one to me. I'll show you what I do with it. I'll record it and we'll put it on the
toilet
program.
Paper, huh? Nice attitude.
Bonfire in your backyard.
Nice
hey, you're not for your speaker series. Please tell me you're not buying T-shirts.
Now he might.
I'm sure he'll pass them out to the crowd.
That would be a great idea.
No, do not.
And have all the people wearing gold.
No,
as well,
do
like
not.
A playoff game.
No.
Okay, Kelly, you will be back Monday.
Yes.
Okay, no show tomorrow. Want all of you to enjoy the Easter weekend. Wherever you may be headed, drive safely and enjoy the time with your family and friends. Monday on the show, we will meet up with a Florida Atlantic player and find out what this run to the Final Four was like for a school that certainly is not used to this. And back by popular demand, Kelly Holcomb's World of Football.
Yes.
Hot diggity damn.
Cutting edge.
It really is. Kelly, have a good one.
All right, guys. Y'all too. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter to you and your family. Guys, those shirts look great. Go Preds tonight. Bridgestone's going to be rocking. We'll see you Monday.